Today's video is going to be discussing how I plan to go from about $15,000 invested to $50,000 in about 3 months. The reason why I am doing this is one, I just don't feel like I'm growing as fast as I want to, and two, it's always good to set goals. So basically, I went on a Word document and gave myself very specific goals for each thing I'm invested in to kind of see what I can do to kind of push my growth a little bit faster. And two, it'll be kind of nice to look back and say, okay, this was the conviction I had. I did what I said I was going to do, and here's where it got us. So basically, by the end of June, I'm going to be reassessing and then make basically another 3 month plan and just keep doing this and see how it goes for, I don't know, as long as it's worth doing. So yeah, what we're going to do first is go through everything I have, and then we will talk about the specific goals and how I plan to bring it from 15K total to 50K, like I said, in about 3 months. So starting with stocks here, I have my Robinhood portfolio. For those that followed quite a whiles back, obviously I took a break from YouTube, and we actually ended up liquidating the Robinhood portfolio that I did have, basically to get new computers for everybody in the house. I'm kind of glad we did it because we've been mining Bitcoin with most of them, and they pretty much paid for themselves in Bitcoin. But anyways, so the Robinhood portfolio has kind of been rebuilt. We're back up to $2,000 right now. The whole plan with this portfolio is to be more speculative, do a little bit more trading, still overall growth, like slow wealth building over time is the ultimate goal, but this is my more speculative portfolio. The next one is my M1 Finance monthly stock portfolio. This is purely an experiment. We'll talk about what the targets are with that in a little bit, but that one's pretty experimental. That's why there's only $300 in there. The next one's my M1 Roth IRA. So that's a retirement account. That's something I set up on my own because my employers before didn't really have a retirement account. So just to get something in there, I started that a while ago and just put in a little bit of money here and there. And then the last one is my Fidelity portfolio. So that one just started. I actually have a new job now. So that one, they actually do a 5% match. So that's the only reason I have it, is just to collect that match. It's a 401k, so it'll be taxed at a later time. But so far, $237 for the first transfer in there. And then, half of that was free because I'm just doing the 5%. So overall, stocks is at about $4,000 without margin. My goal to hit 50K is going to be everything invested with margin. So any leverage I decide to deploy, that will be counted because I am responsible for that money. So that's why I'm deciding to count it as part of the goal. If I do decide to put margin into something, typically it'll be for high conviction play. So today I did some MicroStrategy and Tesla. I don't want to sell out of it. But if it does a crazy pump and I expect it to sell off, maybe I will do it and then, buy back in. But for the most part, I'm a buy and hold guy. I want to build wealth over the long term. So that's kind of the plan there. But yeah, because I have two retirement accounts, those are kind of like my safe plays. And then these two are more kind of just experimenting and that kind of a thing. Anyways, the next thing will be real estate. So Fundrise, my total opinion on Fundrise has probably changed a little bit. It's really boring. You put in your money and you can pretty much expect 4% growth out of them, which is good, but I feel like you can probably do better elsewhere. So I've really slowed down my investments into Fundrise. I'm not really sure what I want to do with that yet, but we'll talk about that more in a little bit. And then rental property, I don't have one yet. Rental properties is probably going to be my ticket out of the rat race and not working a job anymore. Just cash flowing real estate. It's a really good way to basically make up for your monthly paycheck and just get out of the rat race. So that's kind of the plan there. We don't have it yet, but we'll talk about that more in a little bit too. So the next one is my crypto. I'm extremely bullish on crypto. I've been mining Bitcoin, well, technically Ethereum, and then converting it into Bitcoin for quite some time now. That's where pretty much all this has come from. So other than paying my electric bill, I haven't really put any cash into it. I did buy a couple graphics cards, so I guess you could say that was kind of the investment, but overall we're up to almost about $6,000, and I could still sell those graphics cards if I wanted to. So they've paid for themselves. I'm glad I started doing it. Obviously Ethereum's going proof of stake very soon. and we'll kind of reassess the mining aspect of this. But overall, I'm super bullish on Bitcoin. Most of this is Bitcoin. I have a little bit of Solana, a little bit of Ethereum, and a little bit of DAI, the stable coin. So like I said, most of it's Bitcoin, and I'm extremely bullish on that. I would expect this to double by summer, but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Oh, I'm also earning yield on Celsius and BlockFi, so I get about 4% on my Bitcoin in both of those, like average. So yeah, just another point there. The next category will be alternative assets. So VinoVest, those are my most popular videos. If you have any questions about those, just look them up on the channel here. This is just kind of a side conviction, basically a hedge against inflation. I'm not putting a ton of money in here. We just put some in fall, and I might do a little bit more later on in the year, but we'll see how that goes. And then finally, we have the cash section. So we have some goals for our cash accounts as well, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. But obviously, with these being investment cash accounts, I don't want to keep too much in. I want it in the investable assets. So yeah, this is our graph here. But yeah, let's talk about the goals and what our plan is. So overall, my objective is 50 grand invested with margin. I want to be overall balancing more and correcting my auto allocations. So a lot of my portfolios and such have like auto deposits on them. That way I don't have to think about the cash coming in. We might change that in the future, but for right now, that's what's working for me. We're working hard on getting towards the first rental property. So I'm actually planning on selling my house this year. We're expecting to get at least 60K out of that deal. And then we're going to put 3% down into a new home. So the rest of it I'll be able to just keep and hopefully use on a rental property. But we'll see how that goes. And then I also want to grow the YouTube channel more and maybe learn some options trading. So those are kind of like the overall goals of what my plan is for the next 3 months. And now we're going to go into the individual goals of each thing I have money in. So first one being Robinhood. My target total value with margin will be $10,000 by June. So right now it's at about $4,000 with margin. I'm going to keep deploying what cash I can into there to get to probably 5K in equity. And then I'll have another 5K that I can use in margin if I do that. So that'll be 100% margin deployed. It's a little risky, but depending on where we're at with the world, I mean, things have been pretty crazy this year, and I think markets have actually been pretty strong. So we'll see. Nobody knows for sure, but that's kind of my plan. We want to have 3 high conviction plays in the portfolio, and then I want to have a target dividend of 4%. So cash flowing in the stock portfolio is still very important to me. And then we want a 1% growth on that dividend. So we don't want high dividends that are actually losing value over time. So basically companies can either grow their dividends over time or decrease dividends over time. We want the ones that are growing. Those show healthier companies. And then over time, that compound effect will really take a factor with that. So that's kind of why you want growth. But anyways, we want 33% indexes. So that's kind of for diversification and safety. And then I would like to have less than 20 holdings overall. This is just to keep things simple. I already have 4 stock portfolios. So the less I have to look at and deal with, the better. That way I can focus on other things like crypto, real estate, whatever else. And my main objective here is to have safe growth margins, slight cash flow as a hedge, and potentially learn about options trading to maybe have a side income on that. I'm not really sure yet. I'm still very new to that. So we'll kind of see. It's just more of a get the education and then go from there. So the next thing will be the M1 Finance monthly portfolio. So if we go back here, I only have like $300 in there. It's not a lot. It's kind of a, I don't know, experiment, I guess. So my target by June is to just have $1,000 cash in there, the dividend rate of 4% or higher, and then the target growth rate, I just want it to be broken even. I know with monthly dividend stocks, a lot of them aren't growing year after year, which is fine. It's a high cash flow portfolio. So if I have $1,000 by June, that'll be about $40 a year at 4%. So that's actually pretty good. And then maybe over time, just grow that and grow that. So if I want to, maybe this is 100K one day, 4% on that. I mean, I can just take the cash out and put it in other things. The idea of being wealthy usually comes from creating income from your assets. So that's basically what I want to see happens here. And it's only monthly dividend stocks, so it's just kind of interesting. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. So my Roth IRA, I don't have any target values that I want to hit with this. The more I learn about investing, the more I think that retirement accounts are just kind of a safe play. And the more I learn, it's just like whether or not I want to put money into that, I'm kind of iffy on. I think with a retirement account, you put your money in and it's kind of locked in there. If you start pulling money out, you get billed with huge tax implications and all that. So kind of trying to decide what I want to do. I think it is good to have a little bit of auto invest on there. So we're just kind of figuring out what we want to set that to be. Eventually, when I am doing a lot better and I have more deployable income, I would like to max out the allocation, which is only $6,000 a year. But we'll see how things pan out. So the next one will be Fidelity. Again, this is just collecting that 5% match from my company. So yeah, that's the only reason we're doing that. There's nothing else to talk about there. Fundrise, still trying to make up my mind on what I want to do with Fundrise. It's very consistent cash flow, 4%. I'm not taking it out. I'm just leaving it in there and letting it grow. But I need to kind of decide on whether I want to keep growing it or just pull everything out, especially if I'm going to be doing actual rental properties. I don't know. It might just be a hedge against the actual real estate market I'll be invested in. This might be a hedge in the real estate market against my assets. I don't know. I still have to decide. So kind of indifferent on that one right now. The next one, rental properties. So I'm hoping to have the cash from home sale like I talked about. Would like to have 40K or more before shopping for my first rental property. One of my real estate agents I might be able to partner with. We'll see what he's thinking at that time. He's focusing on getting married and all that stuff too. So we'll see where he's at. It would be nice to have a partner on the first one. That way I'm with somebody and kind of share the risk. But if nobody's willing to partner, I will do it by myself. It's kind of dependent on how the house sale goes and all that. So really not too much to work on there. The next one, crypto. So this will be the number one thing. I have a really high conviction on crypto. I think cryptocurrency is actually going to go up to 80K this year, maybe even further. Depending on how much you guys are actually looking in the space, there's a lot of Bitcoin adoption, especially in America right now. A lot of billion and million-dollar companies that are buying into what it is valuable for. We can do a video on why I'm so bullish on it later, but basically my target by June is to have 15K in crypto. So I'm just mining it. I'm not really buying a whole lot of coins or anything like that. But because of the price going up, I should have 15K by then. And with that, like I said, I'm expecting it to hit 80K. So it should be easy, not really a lot of work here. I'm just going to be focusing on my mining rigs and then maybe doing a little bit of Solana buying, Ethereum buying. But yeah, ETH goes proof of stake. So that once that occurs, that means mining will be kind of a whole different ball game. So we'll have to reassess that at that point. If it even does happen, it could be delayed again. It's hard to say. But yeah, if mining isn't really feasible anymore, I'll investigate selling those graphics cards that I bought and then just kind of look into maybe some DeFi yields or stable coins just to figure out a different way to earn money in the crypto space other than just buying and holding. So yeah, something like Solana, I have a high conviction on, so I might buy into that more. We'll kind of see. But the highest conviction of all is for sure Bitcoin. So yeah, we're looking to own maybe just 3 total assets, including or excluding stable coins, and just keep it kind of simple. The next thing will be Vinovest. So again, no target allocation by June, just kind of holding on to what I have there. I'm not planning on selling any of my wine, even though one of them is up like 40%. I just want to hold it. It's kind of there to hedge and diversify. So yeah. Masterworks, I haven't looked into it too much. I know I want to be invested in art eventually, but it's just not a big deal right now. We might investigate an initial deposit of $1,000 or not, but we'll kind of see. And then my cash accounts, so I actually have a goal for each one. I want to have about $1,000 in the checking account just to kind of not be worried about the account like hitting zero and paying some stupid fees. So that's kind of what that would be for. The savings account would be kind of something I'm building up to just have some dry powder on the side And then on top of that, I want half of my total margin that I deploy in there in case something goes wrong. Stocks sell 50% off. Instead of having to liquidate my account, I can deploy this cash and hold on to my plays if I want to. So that's kind of what that would be there for. And then the last one is I have a third savings account. So that'll be for if the house sells, I'll have my 40 grand parked there until I need to deploy it into an investment property, and that kind of a thing. So I'm actually saving some money for that as well. So that's what that's for. So yeah, this is the 3-month goal. It's kind of detailed enough, but simple overall. That's my plan. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, if some nuclear warheads go off, that could really mess up everything. But obviously, if that's happening, we have bigger problems in the world. So I don't know. I just feel like I needed to put my foot down and set some more specific goals and then try to reach them. And then if we don't, we can just reassess in June. It's not a big deal. I think no matter what, we'll probably be doing better than we are right now. I mean, 15K, if we get to 25K, that's pretty good for 3 months at my level. So we're shooting pretty high, but I have some pretty high convictions and I expect it to probably hit that. I think 50K is realistic, but who knows, right? There's no way to know for sure, but all we can do is set some goals and then kind of just make micro decisions in the meantime to try to get there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. If you guys have any questions about anything, let me know in the comments sections. You can always DM me on Instagram. I'm trying to be more active there as well. So hopefully this video wasn't too boring. It's just kind of outlining what we're doing. Sometimes things can be a little bit boring when it comes to investing, but these are the detailed goals and what we're shooting for. So anyways, I hope you guys have a good day and let me know again if you have any questions.